I met Reya under the grey sky of November, just outside a music hall where neither of us had tickets. She was there for the protest, something about artistic censorship, and I was there for the echoes of a band I couldn't afford to see. We ended up sitting on the curb, sharing a warm can of Coke like war refugees in a world that had forgotten to care. She had sharp eyes. Not the kind that merely watched you, but the kind that saw through you. Her voice had a bite to it, like she knew how to tear through silence and leave a mark. "You're too quiet," she said that day. "I'm just listening." To what? Life doesn't whisper, you have to shove your ear into its chest to hear anything real. That was Reya. All or nothing. Fire in a city of wet matches. We didn't become anything instantly. She wasn't built for soft beginnings. But slowly, over weeks that turned to months, we met in the spaces between our routines. A bookstore on 6th where she hid notes in poetry books. A cheap diner where she'd stir her coffee violently like it owed her something. And rooftops, always rooftops, where she'd light cigarettes she rarely finished and tell me about the world she wanted to burn or build. One night, I told her about my mother. How she left when I was 7. How I blamed myself for her disappearance even though I knew better. Reya just nodded and looked away. "I'm not good with comforting," she murmured. "I'm only good at staying when no one else does." That was the moment I realized I was falling for her. Not in the bright, airy way movies describe it, but in a jagged, undeniable way, like falling down a staircase and not caring where it ended. By spring, we were practically living in each other's spaces. She left socks in my drawer, I left books on her shelf. She never said the word love, but she knew when my shoulders were heavy. She'd pull me into a hug and mutter, "You're safe here. Don't fight me on that." And I didn't. Until Danny came along. Danny was just a friend. We met at a writer's workshop, both of us fumbling over metaphors and half-finished prose. She had a calmness Reya didn't. A softness I wasn't used to. When we talked, it wasn't electric, but it was still real. Still meaningful. I told Reya about her, casually, like I'd tell her anything else. She nodded, unreadable. Then she went quiet. For 3 days. It was on the 4th night that it happened. I came back to the apartment we were sharing more and more frequently. The air felt tight as soon as I stepped in, like the room itself had inhaled and never exhaled. Reya was standing near the window, arms folded, her eyes darker than usual. "You smell like jasmine," she said, not looking at me. I blinked. "What?" "Jasmine. Danny wears that scent, right?" I opened my mouth, but she was already moving. In 3 strides, she was in front of me. Then she pushed me, hard, against the wall. Her palm flat on my chest, not hurting, just holding me there. "Don't you dare love anyone else." Her voice trembled, not with anger, but with fear. Real, visceral fear. The kind you hide behind smoke and mirrors and sharp words. Her eyes searched mine, wild, frantic. "Reya." "I'm not good at being soft," she whispered. "I don't do flowers or waiting by the phone or playing second to a safer option. I'll burn before I'm replaced." I took her hand. Slowly, carefully. "You're not being replaced. You never could be." We didn't speak for a long time after that. Just stood there, breathing the same air. Her hand was still on my chest, but softer now, like she was afraid to let go and watch me vanish. "Why does it scare you so much?" I asked quietly. "Because you make me feel like I'm worth something. And I don't know how to live if that gets taken away." My throat tightened. "Then let me stay." That night, we didn't sleep. We lay on the floor, shoulder to shoulder, staring at the ceiling like it held secrets to who we were. She told me about her childhood, about her father, who taught her to scream before she could walk. About the therapist she stopped seeing because vulnerability felt worse than violence. I told her I was scared too. Not of her, but of losing her. Of not being enough for someone who seemed to live in extremes I couldn't always reach. Days turned to weeks again, and something changed between us. She began leaving me notes, not just in books, but tucked in the folds of my coat, on the bathroom mirror, inside the fridge. "You're mine," one would say. Or "Don't disappear. Not today." Sometimes I found poems. Broken stanzas. Like this one. "If love is a war, I'll lose every time. But I'll still crawl to your front line." One evening, months later, I got a call. Danny had been hit by a car while biking home. She was in the hospital. Stable, but shaken. I told Reya I needed to go. Not out of romance, but loyalty. Friendship. She didn't stop me. But as I grabbed my jacket, she caught my wrist. "I know you care about her. I'm not stupid. Just don't make me regret letting you in." "You won't." She kissed me then, desperate, unfiltered. The kind of kiss that doesn't ask for promises, only presence. I visited Danny. She was okay. Bruised, sore, but smiling through it all. We talked. Briefly. She thanked me. Then she asked, "Is Reya okay with this?" I nodded. She's learning to trust me. And I'm learning to trust what we are. When I returned home, Reya was on the fire escape, lighting a cigarette with one hand and shielding the wind with the other. She didn't say anything as I sat beside her. Just handed me the lighter and said, "Don't ever make me beg to be enough. You never have to." She leaned her head on my shoulder, smoke curling around us. For once, the silence between us didn't feel like distance. It felt like peace.